Hello and welcome. In this tutorial I am going to show you how to implement the binary search algorithm in Python. Binary search is a divide and conquer algorithm that can be used to search for an element inside of an array. The array has to be sorted for the binary search to work. Binary search is a very efficient algorithm, especially if you are working with large data sets. Before jumping into code, let me explain how binary search works. The first step is to find the left and the right boundaries. On the first iteration, the left boundary is equal to 0, where the right boundary is equal to the index of the last element in the array. In this case, the index of the last element is equal to 10, which means the right boundary is equal to 10. The second step is to determine the midpoint of the array. In this case, the midpoint is equal to 5, which corresponds to 11. The third step is to compare the midpoint value to the target value. If the midpoint is equal to the target value, we return the midpoint, which is the index of the value of we are searching for. If the midpoint is greater than the target value, it means that the value may be on the left section of the array, so we look on the left side. If the midpoint value is less than the target value, it means the element may be on the right section of the array. So we search on the right section of the array. Then we repeat the same steps for the remaining section of the array until we find the target value. So here I am going to define a new function called binary search. It's going to take array and target value as arguments. The second thing I want to do is to define our boundaries. Left is equal to 0 and the right is equal to length of the array minus 1. Now let's run a while loop as long as the left boundary is less or equal to the right boundary. Now I am going to find the midpoint by taking the average of the left and right. Over 2. Now let's compare the midpoint value to the target value. If the midpoint value is equal to the target value, we want to return the midpoint. Else, if the midpoint is greater than the target, it means the value is on the left section, so we want to set our right boundary to midpoint minus 1. Otherwise, we're going to set the left to midpoint plus 1. At the end of the loop, if we have not found the value, it means the target value is not in the array, so I want to return minus 1. Now let's test our code to see if it is working. I want to search for 5. This should give us 2 because 5 is at index 2 in the array. If I try to search for 9, this should give us minus 1 because 9 is not in the array. And if I search for 15, I'm gonna get 6 because 15 is at index 6 in the array. If I run this in the terminal, you can see that the algorithm is working as expected. Alright guys, this is how binary search works. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.